Welcome to the Performance Plastics Podcast, hosted by IAPD, the only podcast dedicated to providing you information and insights into the world of engineering-grade plastics and how they benefit society by improving the quality of everyday life. Now here's your host, Kylie Canty.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Performance Plastics Podcast. I'm your host, Kylie Canty with IAPD, and today I am joined by the one and only Alex Peters. Alex is an applications and standard engineer at Arkema. She is on the IAPD GenerationNext Advisory Board. She is an MBA student at Johns Hopkins University, and of course, she is a recent graduate of our Performance Plastics Level 1 from the last live training in Camp Prussia, Pennsylvania in October. But you've obviously got so much going on, and I just want to thank you for taking the time today to chat about your experience at the Introduction to Plastics live training that we just recently had.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. It was a great time and a great program, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So, obviously you're very brilliant and you are so accomplished and have so many things going on. Besides us hosting the live training at Arkema, was there a certain reason why you did the live training? Was it for networking, or what was kind of your reasoning behind even joining?
A little bit of everything, I would say. So I've been in the industry about 2.5 years now. I graduated with a degree in chemical engineering. I knew a little bit of plastics, but if you would have asked me probably my senior year of college before I got hired at Arkema, it wasn't on my radar by any means. So I did a lot of training in person at my job, but it was also nice to kind of outsource those things to a degree. And I think that's something that the IAPD training did a really great job at. So for me personally, it was learning more about different types of plastics, especially when you work for a supplier, you're typically selling one or two materials, so everything about them. But it's nice as an engineer to see everything in the industry and know how it applies and how it all interconnects.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, as somebody who doesn't know anything about plastic, literally at all, I learned so much from that training. And so Pete Dowmeyer, you remember, he is the chair of the education committee. He works for Cartier-Wilson as a territory manager. He just sincerely broke it down so well and easy to understand and digest. And you'll probably remember there was like CEOs in the room too that, probably knew all that information, but sometimes being told something in a different way. There's always, updates in the industry. There's always so many new things to learn. Coming from an outside perspective of not even knowing anything about plastics, it was really great. And another thing I wanted to ask you about too is the networking aspect. I know, especially because you usually work from home, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. How was the networking opportunities that you were presented with at the live training?
Yeah, I thought the networking opportunities were incredible. And just to speak to some of the other points, we actually had 2 PhDs in the training in polymer science. That's true. Yeah. So really every range of, we had, someone in our company that I think has started maybe 3 months ago. He was there and learned so much. I've been there a couple of years, more on the sales side in the industry. And we have technical PhDs who all kind of walked out and said, wow, that was really interesting. I learned a lot about, applications and different materials, and even the way that Pete was kind of spinning it. And the Play-Doh was just so much fun and taught you so much. But yeah, the networking aspect, I think, was probably the most integral part. That's always been, coming on the sales and business development side of things. That's so essential because it's really so great to connect with people. And I think IAPD does an amazing job at connecting people in different divisions in different parts of the country and really bringing them all together. And I think the training was just a phenomenal way to do that. So I definitely met some new people that I connected with, lots of LinkedIn requests after. Yes. It was so great to meet you. I hope to see you at this conference. So it's really nice as a way to stay connected in the industry. So definitely recommend that. That was probably my favorite part, next to the Play-Doh.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably back to childhood.
No, definitely. Especially when it came to that networking dinner that we did on that Tuesday evening. So from what we had worked out with the restaurant, it was supposed to be like a cocktail hour style, like people were supposed to be moving around and talking, but it really just showed how comfortable people were with each other and how engaged in conversation they were. Because truly people just walk up to the table and sit down and just start talking to the person sitting right next to them or across from them. And they were just so engaged. And then more people would join in, and then they started playing musical chairs a little bit. So it was kind of like a big family style dinner. And it was just so cool to see those interactions happening, and not really necessarily expecting it. Cause like you said, there was like people with PhDs, there's CEOs, there's people that have literally just started like a few months ago, and their boss just sent them to live training to learn about plastics. And now they get to meet like, people that have been doing this for years and being, mentored and taught by Pete and, et cetera. I think the funniest thing for me was when people were trying to ask me questions about plastic. That was fun to just deter them back to Peter, or actually you too. It's like, I don't know.
Thanks. I'm honored. Yeah. Pete's great like that. He's such a cool guy too. And I love those dinners because I think it takes a step back. So you get to like learn who people actually are and what their interests are. And so many people now say I'm interested in learning about plastic and like their personal life. And no one left the dinner until like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
I felt like they had to kick us out.
True. Yeah. I was like, I need to sign the tab, everybody.
Yeah, everybody's working here is ready to go home. But yeah, especially having people come out of town, I thought that was just a really fun, great way to do it. And it's just really nice to connect with people personally and then see them in the industry, see them, around, and just, it's a really great way to connect. And it's a great like first step in a conversation too, of like, oh, what was your most interesting thing from the live training? I also really loved when Pete asked what plastic everyone identified with the most. And you had to like dive into this personal aspect. It's like, who am I? And what is plastic? And it just became a little existential crisis that everyone had for moments.
What plastic do you feel like you resonate with the most?
Oh, I resonated with Kynar. Have to.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Why did I not even know the answer to that? Actually, I should have known that.
Just in 2023, we're trying to focus on, being strong, having some good like resistance to outside forces, taking that and moving it forward.
Obsessed. So we actually just launched our West Coast spring live training in Phoenix that is going to take place on May 16th to the 17th this year. Obviously, different kind of demographic going from the Northeast to the West Coast. But what would you say to somebody that might be on the edge, thinking about going, not sure if it's like worth it, or, kind of just hasn't made up their mind yet?
I would say it's 1,000% worth it, between the networking and all the people that you get to meet, because I didn't really know who was going to be there walking in. So it was really nice to have a mixed class and to have all the name tags and say, oh, I recognize that company. Oh, we graduated college the same year. Oh, we had the same major. And to just kind of cross-reference that way and to talk to, like you said, CEOs, PhDs, people who are just walking in the door. The networking is phenomenal. And like that at many IAPD events. And then just learning so many basics, and especially being in a room as I know we talk about this a lot on the GenerationNext committee, but being in the room as a younger member in the industry, that's a very long-term industry, it really helps. So you know what people are talking about. And there's so many acronyms. So when people are throwing out, different acronyms, you can kind of pinpoint where everything's coming from and where it's going. So I would say it's definitely worth it. And it's not too long. It's a 2-day event, and it's
and we have fun.
Perfect sweet spot of the amount of time, and you get to connect with everyone. It doesn't take too much from your work schedule, and you're kind of able to, it really did better me going forward. I can say that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so good to hear too. And you have a copy of your book, right? Unless I accidentally stole it.
I do. That is a great book.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I had so much fun, that one being the first one that I facilitated. It was just such a blast. And, it was just so unprecedented with how many people came, and it was just so exciting. And everybody there was also so excited. And from an outside perspective, not necessarily being in the industry with you all and going through like the training and, everything that you guys do, it was just so fun to see. Of course, it's like first day of school vibes. Everybody sits down and they try to sit down next to somebody that they might already know. And then we're like, Pete's like, hey, you're moving over here. Like, you need to go network with so-and-so, or, you need to sit next to somebody that you don't know. And then of course they're like all shy. And then a couple minutes later, they're already talking and laughing and stuff. It was just really cool to see. I think it's, like a really nice little, I don't want to say like underrepresented, but a really unique opportunity that we present through IAPD University.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in the industry, it's really hard to find formal training on like plastics in general. I think there's probably like companies, I'm sure, offer individual trainings, but it's really hard to find like a clear overview besides going on Wikipedia and Googling every single material that's ever existed and what they're all used for, of like saying, oh, what is this little piece in my car made of?
Yeah. But that's not Pete Downmeyer telling you to put glitter in Play-Doh. It's not, it's completely different.
Yeah. You know what? It's close enough.
Or hammering nails into pieces of plastic.
Yeah.
Or trying to. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was so fun.
That was so loud.
Labs of comparison. I'm sure it was so loud to other people working. Like, what's going on in that room?
Yeah. No, it was so fun. And to kind of like, to that point too, you're so involved with Generation Next and helping us come up with programs for that and speakers and everything. And it's, we are really gaining traction with the program. But I feel like people might just be a little hesitant to it because it is designed for young professionals, but at the same time, young professionals are, one, so busy, and two, they don't know anybody yet. So of course they're going to be shy. Do you have any types of like advice or words of wisdom from being on the advisory board and really being involved? I mean, you're not a shy person, obviously, but anything that you would kind of say to them to, get them in the mix?
Well, I think the training is a great way just for all companies to kind of like connect with IAPD and realize there's so many different opportunities there. In this industry in plastics, there was a large, I think, gap of time where there weren't a lot of new people coming in. So there's kind of this generational turnover that I've seen on our side, especially. So I think everyone is so interested in helping each other because they're so excited that people are joining. Because I know there's very few colleges that I know of, at least I'm like from New Jersey. No one ever talked about plastics when it was going to college and what do you want to do with your life. So I think it's like this great opportunity to bring people in, especially like a younger generation, realize there are so many like fun, interesting things that we do and we all tie it all together. And that's probably my favorite thing about Generation Next. And especially even when you go to the training and, there's CEOs and they're like, oh, you're part of this program. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, you go to the Women in Plastics events. Oh, we go to them too. Like, let's connect there. So it's just such a great way to connect with everyone.
Yeah, you took the words all out of my mouth. I completely agree. Well, I truly just wanted to hear about your experience. And I don't know if you have anything else that you want to say or any funny stories or moments that you remember from live training. I know one of my, I'll say favorite, really sarcastically, but one of my favorite moments was hauling all of that pudding out of the room. And cleaning those giant pitchers. It was fun because everybody was making pudding and being all hyped and having a silly time. Yeah. But then I was just covered in chocolate pudding. So
I just loved the moment where everyone looked around and they were like, is it okay to eat this?
Eat the pudding?
Like, I want to eat it. Is it acceptable? I know it's a metaphor, but is it acceptable to just, can we get some spoons?
Yeah. And then I didn't have spoons. Yeah. Learning lesson for the Phoenix live training. We will have so many spoons and you will have so much pudding. So
no, that was probably one of my favorite moments too. That was a good one. Yeah.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I am just so grateful that we have amazing people like you in the industry. You're just such a blast to work with and just always such a blast to see. And I always force you to take a selfie with me if we're ever at an event together. So thank you for being
They're amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for hopping on today. And I hope I get to see you soon.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was brought to you by the International Association of Plastics Distribution. For more information on IAPD, please visit our website at www.iapd.org.